Hey everybody, it's me, it's Michael B. Tonight we're going to be talking about Home Arcade suggestion line. So it's like basically a suggestion box, but instead of me being up here making suggestions and just shooting the shit, I wanted to give everybody else an opportunity to make their suggestions. And of course, I needed my good buddy Justin to help me. So we're going to get started with that in just a minute. I'll explain the rules to you. We're also running a little late. Justin had something come up and he's going to be a couple more minutes out. So we'll get started without him and he'll join us as soon as he possibly can. Anyways, sit back. Let's have a bunch of fun tonight talking about all the cool things we'd like to see our favorite home arcade companies do in the future. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B.
What is happening?
What's going on, Justin, man?
Wow, I literally just ran down the stairs, turned the computer on just in time, dude. I'm so excited for tonight's show. We've been talking about doing this for a really, really long time. The idea of bringing people from the community, it's just a wonderful idea. I'm so glad I thought of it.
Oh, well, technically you did. I mean, I loved when you were doing your Sunday podcast and you doing the call-in aspect, getting people to leave messages. And I've said this to you 100 times, Justin. You have such a good radio voice for doing this. And I always
thank you.
I always saw this. I thought it would be really cool if you had some kind of show that was just like call-ins, like you're live on the air with Justin. Tell me where you're coming from, caller. Hi, this is Bill from Seattle. And like,
First time caller, long time listener.
Yeah, I just thought that'd be such a cool idea. And I mean, I know we've talked about doing it and like you thought that's what I was doing tonight, but I was like, nah, we're just going to get people to join the broadcast and come in. That's
even better, better. So we got a couple rules and so if you, I think you're going to put a link in the description, right? And you'll be able to click on it. You'll be able to join the live show. You don't have to show video if you want. You'll be prompted to activate your camera or not, but there's one thing you got to remember. If you're watching this show, the moment you connect, you'll want to turn off the show because there'll be feedback, right? It'll be feedback. Yeah. And if you're using your phone, you can talk closely into it and we can try to get good audio, right?
Yeah, that's the trick of it here. And we will also be taking suggestions in the live chat, but we can't promise we're going to get everybody's suggestions. The best way to get in is to actually dial in. So if you go to the description, the link is already there for you to join the show. I'll get a notification here and add you in. And in the meantime, we can take a look to see if there's any suggestions in the chat while we wait for somebody to join.
That's right. I got the first one here, and it's to you, Mike. It's okay. You have coffee breath.
Oh, does that bother you? Does that bother you?
Yeah. You have coffee breath. Okay.
There's another
you'll
one.
Have to work on that one.
There's another one here that says we should work on our outreach program for persons that are suffering. You know,
who had that problem?
You know, Bill.
Oh, that guy was a weirdo.
Adam Cal, my Ridge wallet is delayed too. Justin, I don't know if you remember, but this past weekend I did a video for iArcade, and I had a 30-second ad integration from this company called Ridge Wallets, and they sent me a product. I love it. So of course, just in typical Michael B fashion, I had a 30-second ad integration, which turned into a 3-minute commercial for them because I can never do anything sensibly. So I did a 3-minute commercial. Adam actually picked up a Ridge wallet. I think you're really going to dig it when you get it. And I've got another ad coming up probably on tomorrow's video. So I'll try to keep this one to actual 30 seconds this time.
Yeah. So is that our first suggestion? Like increase the amount of 30-second ads or reduce them? I don't know, because I have one coming up, but I talked to them for a while. They reached out and they're like, would you do a sponsored video for us? And I was honest with them. I was just like, look, if you're trying to get me to make a video for you, it's probably not going to be good. Yeah. Like, I'm just not into that game. But if you want me to like run a 30-second ad in the middle of a video and you think that'll work for you, I would gladly do that.
Yeah, well, I'm all about it because anything that'll let me buy more arcade cabinets and possibly a pinball table, I'm willing to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Gigi has a good comment here, and this is actually one that'll be fun to talk about. Let's talk about T2 cabinet. I got one here in Canada, $1,000. Yeah, they are steep, $849. Guess what? My Sinden light gun does not work properly. Not
Ooh.
happy. They need to wake up Arcade One up, and I'm glad that he's actually putting this up here because I had to move my T2 cabinet in my arcade back to the original location I had it, and guess why?
Why is that?
Certain lighting I had in the room was
you
impacting.
serious?
Yeah, I have a real neon light, like beer light, and the first time I moved the cabinet, no, not a joke. It's a Moosehead Light beer sign, a neon sign, and when
All
I
right,
moved the
babe.
cabinet. So how are you going to pay me back on your $0 per year salary,
That's right,
babe? But I
if
had
you
this
don't
neon-
notice, we're big Office fans, right?
Yeah, so I had this neon beer sign like directly across from the cabinet, and I was like, "Geez, did I break my guns or break my cabinet moving it?" And what it was is, if there was a lot of light around the cabinet, especially that kind of neon light that I use in my arcade, it was actually messing up my Sinden gun. So I moved it slightly down, and on the other side, still was a problem. I had to move it directly to the center of my arcade where I have very little light. And that's the only way the guns register properly. So if you are having problems with your T2 guns and you say, well, it's just not working right, honestly, try moving the cabinet to an area with very little light.
Wow, this is the first time I've ever heard that was actually an issue. What a shill. You've made all these videos for T2 and whatnot, but you never told us light interference can cause interference to the gameplay. Shame on you, Mike.
I know. I'm sorry. And we actually lost somebody. We had someone, a brave soul, JJ, came into.
It gave me an idea, and I think this is what's going on. Anyone who wants to join the live stream, you're going to be put in a green room, and that's your opportunity to check your settings, make sure your audio's coming in. And he probably dropped out because he's like, what's going on with my audio? It's not working. That's totally understandable. So just keep jumping in. Just give us a thumbs up when you're like ready to join. We'll click to let you join. Yep. See, JJ, he's like, that was the test.
Here we go. Late to the games, coming into the stream.
Hey, you're live on the air. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing good. What's going on?
Hey, not too much. As my name suggests, hold on a sec. Give me one second here.
Caller, you sound familiar.
Definitely not familiar to you guys, but I'm in a lot of your guys' comment sections when you guys are on. But I'll give you.
Do you happen to go by Sharon Peters?
Only in a different life, but
okay.
no,
all
I
right,
do not.
All right.
My name is Sean, so you guys can call me by either one. But my handle kind of sums up my situation in arcade gaming. I'm late to all of this. I came in, 2 or 3 years after at games, and so I'm kind of learning as I go. Everything is a process, which you guys are great help with. But one of the key things that I find with these is, the games are great, for the most part. You have, so it's really hard for me to sum this up, but I buy the games I want. So if a cabinet has, like, as an example, 2 games that I want, and there's 10 other games that I don't want, I most likely will still buy the cabinet because I want those 2 games, even though the cabinet isn't, it isn't going to get my full, usage out of it as far as the games go. But one of the things I like is, I bought, right now I'm 3 months into this. I have 7 arcade 1-ups. I have the iArcade Gold coming. I have thanks to Michael B, I have the at games, the Legends coming. And then I have the pinball coming because, who doesn't want more than 10 pinball games on a, pinball machine? But when you look at it, I'm an adult. I'm 52, so I grew up literally in that arcade realm.
Yeah.
That 80 to 84, where it was true arcade, not the post 85 when I call it the, they turned into skee ball and all the other types of stuff. And then later the crane games and all those things came in. So I'm a little bit earlier on than some people, so I like the earlier games. Gorf. Who the heck doesn't like Gorf? Of course, the only cabinet you can get Gorf on is the Defender, Partycade, which of course
Mm-hmm.
I have because Gorf's on it, Sinistar's on it, and of course Defender with the right layout and everything else.
That's not entirely true. Gorf is also on the Midway head-to-head table as well.
Correct, but I'm not going to get the head-to-heads.
Yeah.
I'm disabled, so I have issues with height and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I play all games sitting down, which is why I like the 3/4 size cabinets. They're great. I have a small house. Great, So I'm actually now building out part of my basement as an arcade, which
As
is
one tends to do.
yes,
Yeah.
you find every minute inch of space to put these machines in, which is great. It's a great nostalgic piece for me. The other thing that's nice too is my son is 27 and
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of get him. He plays console games, the newer RPGs and stuff. So trying to get him to understand and see and feel what I feel when I play them. I
Yeah.
love the top down shooters. The 1942s, 43s, all of those types of games. I love the key thing that I want to see from the developers or the game makers is put more thought into the games you're putting on machines. So, as an example, you have NFL Blitz coming out, which I'm praying are potentially coming out because nobody knows 100% for sure what's actually happening.
Right.
But when you do it, that'll have hopefully the 49-way joystick, correct? Why the heck don't you put Sinistar on that? I know they're not going to because it's not an NFL Blitz game. Because there are 3 NFL Blitz games out there from I think 99, 2000, and then the original. And so we're not going to see that matchup that should happen because controls and matchup are extremely important. So Sinistar playing it on my Defender Partycade is difficult to play. I know that I can't remember which one of you guys, and I watch all of you, P-dubs, all you guys,
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at that Sinistar game and try to play it, it's just not that experience you had in the arcade because you don't have the right controller. So if you're building a piece of equipment that has the right controller, why don't you put the games that fit that controller? And I understand licensing. I do understand all of that, and I understand that if I want to, I can go, we'll call it third party, and get the games and which I do have all that. I have actually every arcade ROM that exists out there.
Yeah.
In
As
form.
one tends to do.
Yeah,
So,
but
like Nostalgia, you also dabble in the dark arts.
yes, and one of the reasons why that is because they don't have all the games I want on the cabinets.
Yeah.
And that's why I like IR Arcade because I can go in and I can download games that I want to play. Now, not all of them that they have are games that I'm gonna want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But they just put out that new one, the Donut Dodo game.
Yeah.
Good,
Excellent
huh?
game, awesome game. I
Yeah.
downloaded it on Steam, and that's probably the first game I'll do when I get my Dragon's Lair Gold cabinet. And I'm also kind of weird in that I ordered I pre-ordered the gold cabinet, and I'm not going to play Dragon's Lair on any other vessel that I have to play it until I get that cabinet because I want that arcade feel, and that. But my biggest thing is if you're gonna make me pay $600, $700, $800, $900, we already know about monitors. I'm not going to go there about monitors. We know the problems with that. We know the problems with other things, the what I call the half-ass controls that they have,
Mm-hmm.
because some of the cabinets the controls are good, but they're not great. It's not like a true arcade feel for me because I have that, that collective memory, that muscle memory of arcade cabinets. And so if you're going to do it right.
Yep.
I'll pay an extra $100. If you want to give me a good monitor, I'll pay that extra $150 to get the monitor, get the game with a good monitor, with a game with a good controls, game with good variety. And I understand the Mortal Kombat's coming out with the games because they're all the same company or somewhere weaved in their same company, but they also have to be able to license this and then put them together so that I'm not wasting money.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to buy 500 cabs. I don't have the room for. I would, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm kind of like you guys, just obsessive, you know, compulsive when it comes to this type of stuff. And it's kind of like my collector's piece. But
Mm-hmm.
as my name states, I'm always late to the games where I so badly wanted, you know, the Star Wars. So redo the Star Wars. I know that that's a licensing thing and all that. And I understand how Star Wars and Disney licensing, because I worked with other companies that make games with Disney and Lucasfilm and all that. So I understand
Mm-hmm.
how licensing goes. But that's another thing. If you have a demand, if you have a large demand out there, get those games back out into the wild so that people aren't able to charge two, three, $4,000 for me to get a game that's a $600-700 game. You know, Star Wars is one of them. There's a few others, you know, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole because you guys
Sure.
have done it so many times. And you guys, the hard part about this conversation is you guys have covered almost every piece of content that there is between the
Not
whole.
everything.
I know,
Believe
I
it.
know, I know. But the whole gamut of it, you know, you
Yeah.
guys run the gamut with all the, and I'm not just talking about YouTube, but all the streamers that talk about the games and stuff. And one disappointing thing I will say, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to say this, I watched I can't remember his name, Toy something games or something like that, who did the At Games Miami, or not the At Games, but the Arcade One Up
The toy room. Yeah. We
toy
just did a
room.
stream with
Yeah,
them last night. Yeah.
yeah, yep. The one thing that was disappointing to me is that you didn't see games that are out of stock in there.
Yeah.
And that was something that
Oh,
you didn't see.
interesting.
Star Wars, you didn't see any of that. You didn't see like the, you know, Golden Tee Classic wasn't in there. They had the Golden Tee bad monitor version. You know,
Is that
there
the
were,
official name?
that's what I'm calling it now. I've already bought the monitor so I can buy the cab
Yeah.
and replace the monitor. Disappointing, you have to pay $75 more to, you know, make the game, because for me I have to sit down and play. So try looking up at that screen, because I've seen you, all
Oh my
your
gosh.
guys
Yeah.
is try to look up at that thing. There's no
Yeah.
way in the world
No
that I
way.
could do that.
So late to the games. I don't know if you remember, I did a I don't know what you call it. Like, is the screen really that bad video? And I went to my friend Mike Dalton's house. He's actually in a chair himself, and he has to play from his chair. And he's having the exact same problem. Like, he
Yep.
talks about bowling. He's like, oh, it's so washed out
Oh
because
yeah.
like he's just so low compared to the screen.
Yeah, and that bottom washout's really bad. I mean, I've
Mm.
seen it, you know, I've gone to a store and looked at it from every angle, and the angles that I have to play the games on, and it's just like, no, I can't do, you know, why am I going
Yeah.
to spend $700? I actually have ordered it and canceled it
Yeah.
because of that fact. Until I get the other monitor in, I'm not going to buy the game. There's no point.
Yep.
Yep.
You know.
But now, listen, man, and I apologize. I apologize for breaking out the hook here, and I'm sorry for doing this.
You're
but we
good.
got to try
You're
to
good.
we got to try to get other people on. And I also want an opportunity. What I was hoping to do was for have people come on, tell us their suggestions, and then me and Justin have a minute just to discuss it. So I appreciate you calling in. We've got someone else waiting there now. I don't know if you can see him too. I can see him. Do you see Bill here in the waiting
see
room
Bill.
late to the games?
So let's talk about let's
Yeah,
let
so-
Sean go. Thank you so much for calling in. We'll
Yep.
keep the discussion going, and we'll have Bill on just for a second. Thanks again for being the first one to try this out tonight. We really appreciate it.
Your courage is appreciated.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, Mike? I'll kind of point it at this way. So, I mean, he hit a lot of the points that
Yeah.
we've talked about in the past, and I think this is very, very valid. And I will say, NFL Blitz is totally coming. It's totally coming with a 49-way optical stick. It'll be what makes it unique. And then they're totally gonna come out with a Cinestar, because what do you already paid the money for your manufacturer to come up with a custom optical stick. You're gonna want to reinvest that investment in other pieces of hardware. Where are you gonna do that? It's Cinestar. So I think we'll see Cinestar as a flagship cabinet in the future.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. What else are you going to do with that? Like, I mean, the pitches, we got to do NFL Blitz. Guess what? We can do an optical stick, and then, heck, we'll throw it on Cinestar, right? Like, that's what you do, right? Like,
Yeah, but
that's-
you know Arcade One Up, like I know Arcade One Up, and they're so weird about being fearful about classic arcade games selling. Do you really think they'd go to bat for Cinestar?
a bird told me they would.
Because Ralph likes it. I don't understand. The company's so weird.
No, it's more like it's more like after Tron. This is post Tron.
Yeah, but that's bizarre. You're not going
And
to
then
do
it's
Robotron
Midway, and
2084,
Midway's
but you're
all
going
like,
to do
we want to
Sinister.
get the Pac-Man like love. Why can't?
But
And we're like, well, hey,
But
Midway,
you really think
there's this
Sinister is
game.
the game to do it? Oh my
You're just
God.
mad. You're just mad that it's not Stargate or Robotron. Robotron.
Yes,
Sorry.
Robotron is the flagship game from them. Ask any collector, and you're telling me no, we're going to do Sinister. And
You're
I
gonna
get
do
it,
Sinistar
but why?
because
And like, I literally made a video.
because Brando.
I literally made a video making fun of this. I'm like, oh yeah, when Retro Ralph gets interested in a cab, somehow Arcade 1-Up end up doing it. And then
No,
Retro
no.
Ralph's like, I love Sinister.
There's
And
nothing. No,
he's
no.
like,
How about
"Whoa."
this? He knew Sinistar was coming, so then he bought a real one.
Well,
So he's
that's
like,
what I
ah,
asked,
there we
too.
go.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
make an
asked.
evergreen video, and then it's gonna have another spike once they come out with. There
So,
we go.
yeah,
Ralph in the chat. He's like, I love Sinistar, but it's too niche. They won't do it. Here's the thing: 49-way optical stick is coming with NFL Blitz. What else are you gonna put it on? Do the math. You're gonna get okay. Maybe it'll be Robotron.
No,
But with a
they won't put it.
49 optical stick, right?
Well,
And then
the 40
Sinistar is the secondary.
for the 49 optical stick, Midway also used a 49-way optical stick for Bubbles, and they could also use it for Time Pilot and Time Pilot 84. So
Well, there you go. Well, Sean, late to the game. There's a lot of people I think that are in exactly your boat. This idea that they're frustrated with the games list that they choose, and Arcade 1-Up rarely gets it right. Let's just hope that they do so in the future. I think it's time for the next caller.
yeah, before we do, just really quick, we had a $2 super chat from P-Dubs earlier. Thank you very much for the donation. Cyclone says $5 super chat. Thank you again for the donation. Just switched out the monitor on the Golden TXL with the Dell P1719. Now it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb when they're all side by side. Hey, listen, man, I will tell you, I've seen people put the iArcade monitor in there, and the picture improves greatly. So I'm glad there's an answer for it, and I'm glad it's not high cost. So hopefully, before Arcade 1-Up do a lot more 19-inch monitors, they do the same thing. And Retro Ralph says they won't do Gauntlet Dark Legacy before Sinister, in my opinion. I think it would be cool if they did Sinister, but I'm with MB on this one. Sorry, Justin. Yeah, Ralph, thank you very much.
I
do
wouldn't
agree.
have said it if someone
I
didn't
know.
give me the
Listen,
hint.
Listen, if they do a Sinister cab, I will recant all the stuff about Arcade 1-Up hating 80s arcade collectors, because that's a mind blower right there that they would actually do it. It's a very cool game. I would be excited. It's just, I'm with Ralph on this. Like, I talked to him, I'm like, why not do Qbert? I don't know if Qbert would sell. Would Robotron sell? I don't think so. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Anyways,
right.
we do have another caller, Bill.
Oh, it's Bill. It's
Bill, I'm
Hey,
so
guys.
sorry for
Sorry, I'm
keeping
doing
you
the
waiting,
office
brother.
joke
No,
about
that's
Bill.
all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Oh,
Should I do the first time caller, long time listener thing?
Go for it.
Yeah, you have to tell us where you're calling from too.
Oh, New York, obviously.
Ah,
Yeah, the wonderful,
the windy
wonderful
apple.
state of can't get anything cheap. That's where I live.
The city
Can't
that
get
they had to
anything
name
cheap.
twice.
Oh God.
Manhattan.
Yeah. Oh, guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys doing this. This is awesome.
Mhm.
you.
I feel a little bit like late to the game too, because I am kind of new to this. Obviously, now I'm in the YouTube space like a lot of you guys, but I've only
Mhm.
been doing it for a couple of months.
Mhm.
Known about companies like Arcade 1-Up for a couple of years, but only really just started getting to really following them and getting deep into them maybe a couple of months before I decided to start my own channel.
Mhm.
So a couple of things real quick. So the first thing is, and you guys can tell me more about this, I feel like back when they first started, there was a lot more transparency from a company like Arcade 1-Up. They were more involved in the community than they are right now. It feels like we really don't know anything from them until we know something from them. It'd be nice if they were a little more open about stuff, and even just the weird stuff. Like, and I'm going to plug myself a little bit here, if you don't mind. So
Go
I-
for it,
go ahead.
Bill.
I did a video.
If you don't plug
recently.
yourself, no one is. That's the
guess.
way it works.
I did a video recently where I was in the city looking at stuff, and I was in the Michael Kors store, and they had that Michael Kors Pong thing, which again was just a promotion thing, but it, wasn't really for sale. But who knows about that besides one obscure Instagram post? They did another skin on Big Blue with this Juicy company. Who knows about that?
Juicy? Yeah, was it Juicy? I thought it was
Clot. Clot
Clot.
is but it's part of this Juicy. It's like a brand on this Juicy store. Who knows about that? They don't publicize this stuff a lot. And I know that's like the weird, obscure stuff, but even the mainstream stuff, it feels like we don't get enough coming from them, where maybe back in the day we did.
Do you want to? I'm sorry. I will tell you one of the biggest reasons why we don't get that same attention, correspondence anymore is 100% the pandemic. Like back when Arcade 1-Up started, you had guys like Ralph, you had guys like Justin, you had other people going to conventions and being able to interface with Arcade 1-Up so much one-on-one and close. But during the pandemic where everything shut down, there wasn't really that opportunity. So unless somebody from Arcade 1-Up was willing to come out and jump on a show, and then it's a lot looser when you're on a show floor and you can kind of talk a little bit more. But when you go on like a podcast, like say, for example, John D goes on UAG's show, or even when he used to go on 1-Up Weekly, I mean, he's got a marketing team. He kind of has to get things approved that he can talk about. So the transparency that we saw early on comes from the fact that a lot of the stuff was coming out of trade shows, and also they were more of a startup company. And as they grew and they got bigger, they had to be a little bit more protective, I think, because they had a lot to lose with planning. That's all I'll throw out there. That's my guess.
And I hear that, because the funny thing is, one of the first things I remember from Arcade 1-Up was I go to New York Comic Con every year. And they did Comic Con back, it was either 2018 or 2019, I don't remember. They had a huge presence on the floor. They had this, remember the Shaq thing when they had the giant NBA Jam? They had a giant Marvel versus Capcom there. It was awesome.
Yeah. They had a giant Marvel versus Capcom. I never seen that.
Oh, yeah. It was like that NBA Jam thing. It was huge.
Right.
But it was so cool, and it was a cool thing to see. And I wish they'd come back to some stuff like that. That's why I keep saying to Michael from iArcade, I want to see him come to Comic-Con. I want to see iArcade at one of those. The only other thing I'll say real quick, and again, this goes back to another video I did recently about when all this came out with the legacies and the monitors, about what's more important, quality or price. And I think they need to find that balance. I think like these legacies, if they'd have come out at this price with the monitors from last year, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. These would be almost perfect. These would be almost perfect cabs with the updates that they did. So if they could have put those monitors at that price, I think they'd have had a winner. So somewhere in there, they gotta figure out the right balance of giving us the highest quality that they can at the best price they can, because nobody wants to pay low for shit, but nobody wants to pay $2,000 for a cab. You might as well buy a real arcade.
Yeah. Finding that sweet spot's important. And I really hope, I don't know if their sales were affected by the average consumer, but honestly, I hope that the community spoke and we could give that voice to those that were complaining. I mean, I know when Michael and I were talking about making the video, we didn't really hear the community actually complaining about it, as vocal. But it seems like once we started doing it, saying like these monitors are bad, people are like, oh yeah, they're totally bad, And there's a handful of deniers, and I totally get that, because it's like I wanted to deny it.
Well, I want to see
bad.
one in person too, to be 100% sure. But I got to tell you, from their own marketing, it doesn't look good.
The marketing, and Justin made me feel a lot better about the marketing, with the fact that more than likely this was a prototype unit. They hadn't optimized it for the new monitor, and I wouldn't be that concerned about it. Like UAG made a really good comment where he said, no one had a problem with the Mortal Kombat 2 monitors, and I didn't have a real huge problem with the original Arcade 1-Up monitors. Now it's a little hard to go back in terms of quality.
That argument's outdated, though.
It is outdated.
Once you get here, it's hard to go here. That's the problem.
People probably don't know about it, but Sean Sean Watson made a video on this showing that the monitor is worse than the iArcade.
Oh,
Like, there's a side-by-side
awesome
comparison.
video.
It's like
Yeah.
they're both TN monitors,
Yeah,
and the
plugged him
specs
on
of the viewing
one of mine
angle
too.
is like
Such
the
a great video.
iArcade is a better viewing angle than the Golden Tee. Golden Tee is the worst on the market we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So if they used exactly that monitor on the Mortal Kombat, people would have complained then.
Mm.
I made a mistake saying it's the same monitor as Gen 1. It's not. It's worse
not.
than Gen 1.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. If Arcade One Up didn't already shit the bed with Golden Tee, we wouldn't be having these conversations.
Yeah.
Even if we knew a 5x4 monitor was going into it, we'd be having different conversations saying, "What will it look like?" Not we're worried, right?
Mhm.
Arcade One Up have already put a product out there that have made us concerned for the future of these monitors.
So
Yeah.
and again, we don't really know if it's. I mean, I don't think we know really if it's a matter of they just went cheap or it was what they could find. Although I think people are finding that you can find the better monitors.
Yeah,
So,
but there's a difference between Justin going on like the classifieds and finding an old Dell monitor,
oh
and
yeah,
Arcade One Up sourcing hundreds of thousands of these, right?
very
Yeah.
true, very true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks. I'm going to let you guys.
Thanks, Bill, so
do that
much for
and do
calling
your
in.
thing. And yeah, great show. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Everybody, go check out Bill's Retro Gaming Show. I'm not telling
I
you
don't
to
know,
do
so-
this.
It's so true. Go check him out. We got to talk about this, though. So let's see. Okay, hold on. So I got to filter out Bill plugging. Okay, Bill plugging. Oh, right. Okay, so the key thing that Bill was talking about is, okay, so the first caller was about the games list. And so now it's like, I think the last piece was really important. This price versus quality, right?
Yeah.
And them finding that a Venn diagram or something like that, right? Where it intersects, like you can't go too high and you can't go too low. I'm curious what you think about that.
It's funny. It's almost like a while ago, someone, a YouTuber, made a video talking about video games and how the price point was elastic, not inelastic, and made comments on if you try to go too high, like people will, you're not going to have limitless demand for your product. Price will affect it. And unfortunately, they came into that capacity. The other side of that is, unfortunately, it's not their fault. And as much as people jump down my throat right now saying the pandemic didn't have that much to do with the prices, none of us know what Arcade One Up's pricing structure is. None of us know how much the cost is for the cabs.
No.
We can say all we want, like, oh, cheap wood, cheap this. We don't know how it's structured, but I
We don't
can
know.
tell you, I have had conversations with certain products, and I'm like, man, I think the problem with that one is the price point should have been X. And I heard them say, yes, that was our intention, the price point to be here. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic and the way our costs work, it had to be here. And we knew we were basically ice skating uphill at that point.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't know. When you were in college, I took these stupid courses that now I regret not paying attention in, but it was this product management course, and now I'm basically in this management position that's a lot of project management. But it was like you had to build a rocket at scale, and you had
Yeah.
to learn all of these things, of these lessons of the economy or whatever, right? But it taught this interesting thing. And when they're selling a product, it's like the charge retail of the product is the cost of the total investment. And so you may have to, and I learned this at a startup that I was at. We were a cable company, and we're trying to find that price. And what we did there was we the cost of the development influenced our initial cost, and then marketing came in. And I remember we were going to go at like $80 for this certain service, and we jumped to $99, and it made no sense. No sense. We're arguing in the boardroom. We're like, no, we can't do this. And the marketing says, yeah, the worst thing we can do is price it at $80 and then go up to $99.
Yeah.
Go to $99, and if everyone's cool with the price, which does happen from time to time, people are like, oh, I'll buy it. That you're offering such a great service. You're doing all this endless DVR and all these features you're getting. I can watch 4 shows at the same time. We were the only cable company that actually were trying to provide that service. Remember Back to the Future, where you're like, turn it on. You be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. We could literally have multiple streams at the same time on a single service. Like no one's doing that. And then, you know, if it doesn't work, you go down to $80, right? And I think that's kind of what Arcade 1UP is doing. Partly is there was strategies, there was cost increased, and they're like, we got to get it up here. And they know eventually, like right now, there's a price drop right now. Like Best Buy has a whole bunch of price drops of Trons, like 500 in the 500 range, right? Instead of that 700.
I'll throw something out there. Arcade 1UP got hit really hard with a lot of the Walmart clearance sales, where basically they were blowing them out $50 cabs. Like it's still happening, like $100 cabs, $200 for The Simpsons. And they actually did some aggressive strategy for this. Like David McIntosh was in an interview, and I can't remember if it was with you guys or if it was with this older gentleman. I can't remember his name now, but David did a sit down interview and he talked about it. And
he said, yeah. The guy
we're going to move
at Games. Yeah.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, he works for At Games.
I didn't know that. Well, anyways, he did the interview with him and he said, yeah, we're going to look to be more the Nintendo model to, combat that opinion of people have their stuff, do more limited inventory. And he said that at that time. I also wonder if some of the pricing strategy isn't also targeted at that, to move away from the $50 blowout cabs to try to create that idea of like, prestige pricing model or something along those lines. Skyrim Productions, maybe Kong Saros. I'm trying to bring this up here, Justin.
We were both hitting it at the same time. Yeah, he didn't work for At Games at the time. That's true. He later, just like Nostalgia, he was doing a lot of shilling for Arcade 1UP, but then later he ended up working for At Games at 100%.
And still works for At Games. Covert.
Right. Still does, even though he claims he doesn't. Ralph,
$9.99 super chat. You didn't have to do that, brother. Thank you very much. Hear me out. It's a Robotron 2084 skin cab, but it also has Smash TV, Total Carnage, and a modern twist. They toss in Xenocrisis on it, UN, plus Killer Monitor and good sticks. 100%, Ralph. I would be completely down with that. I am on a crusade to get a Robotron 2084 skin Arcade 1UP cabinet. I've been told it's possibly going to be Smash TV when it happens. I got a feeling most of those games will be on it, plus something else that nobody's talking about. But if I can get it Robotron 2084, I would be such a happy dude. I get it.
I don't know if he can hear us. John D, are you there in the chat? Are you there? Just give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. This idea is really good.
Yeah.
The Xenocrisis. Whoa. Seriously. Like you could reach out to that developer and be like, okay, man, you want a little 1-2%? You know, we go to Midway and be like, Midway, so we got this new game. We got to do a modern twist. That's how we get people to buy the Robotron. It'll be perfect. We're like, we just got to give them a little piece. Just a little piece. Just a taste of the profits. And we have a winner.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ralph. I really appreciate it, brother. I got to bring up this comment from King Kong.
I think Ralph might be drunk right now, actually.
King Kong says, I met David McIntyre on the airport security line at JFK.
Wait.
Who's David McIntyre?
No,
I know who he means. I just find it funny.
No, is that like the New Kids on the Block guy? Step by step, ooh, baby, gonna get to you, girl. Step 1, we can have lots of fun. Step 2,
it's just
you. Step 3, it's just you and me.
That's what it is.
Step 4, I can give you more. Step 5, don't you know that the time has arrived? Woo!
We'll be here all week, guys.
Anyway, I think is
Thanks,
it time
Ralph.
to take the next caller?
Joey McIntyre. There it is. All right. Yeah, JJ's been waiting so long. JJ was actually the first person to come in and talk to us earlier. What's happening, brother?
What is going on, man?
Hey, guys. Well, I would have to echo the poor marketing efforts by Arcade 1UP that Bill brought up earlier. I mean, you have to wonder what the heck are they doing? and John D's been, AWOL. So, but I wanted to talk about two things. One, cabs that I think would sell that there's a lot of demand for, like your Robotron. Heck, you could do Robotron with an old school Battlezone, Smash TV, etc. And I mean, look how well Tron has sold. So,
Exactly.
if Tron sold that well, they could easily do a Robotron cab.
Yeah.
And then
so
another
can I just
option.
jump in and say something
Yeah,
right to
yeah,
that
go
for a
ahead,
second,
go ahead,
JJ? I'm
Michael.
sorry. Yeah, I think they don't see a segment of the marketplace that's out there that they don't understand. Like, the reason why so many people bought the Tron cab wasn't just your typical arcade one-up collectors. It was also just classic arcade collectors who were like, yeah, I can't find a real Tron, so this is the next best option. I'm just going to buy this. And you want to know who else bought cabs like that? Real arcade collectors who couldn't find a Star Wars. They bought the Star Wars arcade one-ups. So those really hard to find, expensive collector cabinets, if Arcade One Up do a good job with them, you're going to get people outside your market that wouldn't typically buy Arcade One Up cabinets. Real arcade collectors sometimes. I know real arcade collectors are throwing like quarters at me and stuff now, but I'm serious. This did happen.
I think he's right. I mean,
Yeah,
so
I would
JJG
echo that. In 2018, when Arcade One Up first came out, I got the Atari 12-in-1 for that very reason, because it had some games on it that I hadn't played in years and years and years, and it was one of those nostalgia heartstring tugging things. And then the other thing I just wanted to bring up, and then I'll let you guys move on to the next caller or whatnot, is something I've been kind of harping on in the chat for a really long time, and that is to do a Q*bert countercade. Now, I know Q*bert's got that 45-degree angled 4-way joystick, so I don't know what other games would use that. Probably none.
Q*bert cubes, I think.
Oh, okay. So
well.
Q*bert and Q*bert cubes, they could do a 2-game cab. But I think as a countercade, there'd be enough demand to actually make that profitable.
Yeah, I think so. I really like that idea. And then I don't know if you saw from the Toy Rooms video, there was that Tempest countercade. You can kind of see like that was pretty sexy. That was a pretty cool little countercade. And I wonder if they could take that countercade and kind of make it more like what a collectorcade, but like, forget the name collector, but just, like a countercade that you would collect because it just looks so good,
Yeah.
Yeah, do it with original artwork.
Could be
and so
that,
forth.
even though the game sucks, right? I said that for P-Dub's benefit.
Hey, Q*bert doesn't suck.
No.
I also don't know how much a real Q*bert costs. I know Ralph just picked one up. I've got to watch it. I've got to watch his video where he did that. But like, I don't know how much it costs, but there's a ton of people out there that also want a Q*bert cab. Like, they just want a 3/4 scale Q*bert cab. So I mean,
and I'm running out of room myself, so that would be perfect.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. So thank you very much, JJ. I really appreciate it, my brother. Look, of course he wants a Q*bert cab.
I just did that for this chat.
I know.
All right, you guys have a good show.
Yeah,
Thanks,
appreciate it, man. That is a really good point that JJ brought up. This idea, basically there's cabinets that we have been demanding, and I think the voices are getting louder and louder on Q*bert because I'm just frankly annoyed by how many comments I get about it.
It's just so weird.
That's
because
when it's time.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I don't understand like how anybody could say Q*bert doesn't have that space or Q*bert won't have that interest. I mean, you go back and look at anything in the annals of arcade history, and Q*bert's up there. Like, you would argue Q*bert's one of those 5 most recognizable games. You watch the King of Kong documentary. I mean, that was the game the old lady was practicing to play. There's so much history. There's so much mainstream appeal. Sure, console gamers and kids nowadays might not know Q*bert as well, but it was in what's it called? Pixels, which I haven't watched in a long time, and I fell in love with for a while. So
yeah, we watched it recently. It's so good.
So good.
Such a good movie. Like, it's probably the best movie that Adam Sandler's ever been in, right?
Yeah, my favorite. And when I was so hesitant to watch it, but when I watched it, I was like, well, I'm stupid. I should watch this a long time ago.
Yeah. Like, you thought it was going to be like super corny, and it
Junk.
is, but But no, they like
in the
that
best
scene,
possible way.
Yeah, that scene where you see all the arcades and then they take you back, and the one guy's basically being what's the Donkey Kong winner guy, like he's straight up. And I heard
Fire Blaster.
I heard that he consulted actually for the movie to like gave his behind the scenes blessing on the likeness of the character. That's what I heard.
You mean Billy Mitchell?
Billy Mitchell. I don't know if it's true, but someone was saying that like Billy Mitchell was like, yeah, okay, act a little bit more like this. There you go, you got it. I don't know if that's true, but Reset Rudy. Pixels is not the best Adam Sandler movie. We all know the best Adam Sandler movie is The Wedding Singer.
I don't know about that.
I have the microphone and you don't.
Late to the games. Thank you again. $10 super chat. You didn't have to do that, brother. I really appreciate it. Pricing is strange to me. Partycade $299, 12 games, 17-inch quality monitor, but Legacy Cab $500, same hardware. Is pricing the extra wood and transport costs? I can't answer that question. Justin, I don't know if you want to take a stab at it.
Let's see.
The first thing I want to say is number of games on the cabinet never equates to price. Like, don't take that into consideration at all. That's not considered in their pricing model, the number of games that come on the cabinet.
Right. So here's how I think it works. I think it's not. Let's give an example. Hey, Midway, I have a cabinet that we want to sell. How much is it going to cost me to do Mortal Kombat? And Midway, many people think Midway says, that will cost you $200 per cab, or some fixed price. Or Midway would respond to, we want $1 million, right? And then you're like, that's why the cost of the cabinet is so high, is they had to pay those licenses, And while that check may be $1 million, I'm sure it's much more than that. What I understand is it's a percentage.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're going to sell this cabinet. We're going to try to get you this much money. And maybe that's in the contract. Like you get the first $1 million or something like that. Contracts can work that way. But I think it's more like you're going to get 10%. And so Midway, you're getting 10%. And so if they sell at 500, then, they get 10% of the 500. And I don't honestly know if it's the full price or it's the wholesale price or how that works. And everyone gets a piece of the pie. And you want, as a company, to write big checks to everybody, because those big checks mean, hey, we want to do it again. You want to do another cab? That last check was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
When they lower the prices, my understanding is kind of everyone loses, And so it's a percentage game.
Well, even we lose, I guess, because if they can't sell, that means we're not going to get other cool shit in the future.
Right. So when you look at that, to answer the question, Partycade at $299, some of them are $200. $199 is what the Defender Partycade debuted as. Like $215 or so. HSN was just, flying them out the door. Again, think of it as a percentage. There's going to be a cost for the monitor. There's going to be cost for the wood. There's going to be cost for the shipping. Partycades, the shipping costs are insane for full-size cabinets because it's a lot of weight. It takes up a lot of space. And then Partycade, they can ship so many more and have to pay for, think of how many Partycades you could fit in the same place as a 48-inch, cabinet. You can fit several. So your costs are going to be lower because of wood, of all those things. And again, it's percentage. So they're just like, hey, look, HSN is going to sell 50,000 of these on when they do their videos or they do their promotions. We're probably going to sell 500,000 of these. It costs this much to do it. Defender, Midway is going to make a percentage. And so
I would have to jump in on the transport cost thing. I didn't realize like how much it was and how much it's gone up since the pandemic until I was talking to the Brick here in Canada about the At Games Legends pinball, and they had to raise their prices massively. They did a $200 increase per unit on the At Games Legends pinball, and it was just how expensive it was. Like a container went from something like, I think it was $800 per container to get it into Canada, up to 10,000, and someone has to bite the bullet on that, right? And it was the Brick. So that's why the $200 price increase came into effect. And I mean, everybody's dealing with the same thing. And then if you read the reports, like over Christmas, it was an absolute nightmare because the big toy companies were upping the prices. They were like, "Oh, you're selling your containers for $10,000. We'll pay 30 to make sure our toys get in ahead of the other companies." So they were leveraging their size to make sure their shipments got in first. So they artificially inflated the prices as well. So yeah, there's a pile of money going for transport costs, and I don't just mean transport costs of getting it from the California, warehouse to the stores. I mean getting it from where it's built over to North America.
Yeah, and that's not it, right? It's also there's more than that. It's the wood
Yeah.
too, right? And a retailer just reached out to me, someone who sells wood. He sells wood.
If we're going to talk about wood, where's
And he
Endless
says
One
it's
Off?
going
We
up
just
even
gotta
more.
get his opinion. I thought wood had come back down a little bit.
He says, and I read, what does he say? Where is it at? MDF is supposed to get another 20% increase in the next 90 days. This guy has no reason to lie to me because he's like, this is what I'm dealing with. He's trying to work out. We're talking about products that possibly could work. And we're like, can you think of ones without wood? And I literally said to him, can we do metal cabinets? And he's like, that's the same price.
Yeah. So here's an example. You're getting pretty tough when you've got companies like Quarter Arcades reaching out and saying, hey, do you mind if we do our cabinets with plastic from now on? I mean, obviously there's some issues with pricing and the way their models work. So that sucks. Anyways, thank you again, Late to the Games, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. We got another one here from Curtis Hartcade, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Cubert, FHMC Cubert, Yellow Mellow Cubert, Cubert Cubes, and Congo Bongo, 5 games in a cab. I think the first 4, 100% they could all do. Is Congo Bongo, is that a Gottlieb game as well?
Congo Bongo, that's definitely a blind spot for me. Let's look it up.
Yeah, let's do it. Congo Bongo.
Congo Bongo, the arcade game.
And I don't know who owns Gottlieb now. Is that Stern? Does Stern own the license to the arcade Gottlieb games?
Oh, I don't know. You ask many good questions.
Sega, Charlie Chuck says. Congo Bongo is Sega.
That's what I see when I look at Wikipedia.
You can't trust that Wikipedia. They say good things about nostalgia there. That's
wrong. Here we go. So share my screen. Congo Bongo, right here. Is this the game we're talking about?
I believe so. It's a blind spot for me as well, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on. Oops.
Yep. So, whoa. What's happening here, Justin? Whoa.
It has a mind of its own, I swear.
Thank you very much for the super chat, brother. We got a super chat here from Hobby Hands. I work with plastics, and many of our raw plastic sheets materials have gone up 67%. So it's everything. Thank you very much, brother. Everything sucks, man.
Let's see. There's a $5 super chat. It earns a little bit more than that. Okay. So keep in mind, let's all pretend, because this is not true. Let's pretend that Hobby Hands is a villain. He's not a villain. I've seen him. I talked to him. He's a really nice guy. This is called acting. It's called pretending. So I work with plastic, and many of my raw plastic sheet materials have gone up 67%. So it's everything. There you go. That's my evil Hobby Hands. Not that he is evil, but if he were, that's what he would sound like. Okay.
So you think he sounds like a Batman villain?
Well, I was going for a little Joker in there, a little bit. You know, you got to go if you're going to do a super chat with a psychotic voice, you kind of lean. Yeah. And again, no offense, Hobby Hands. I love you. Like, literally, we've chatted on the side. I think you're brilliant. It's not meant to make fun of you. It's literally, I read it and I'm like, I work with plastics. I'm like, ooh, what if the Joker said that? I work with plastic.
Yeah, Hobby Hands is one of the more obscure Batman villains. He's there with Calendar Man and Solomon Grundy. Retro Elf says, you guys got me thinking Cubert Gottlieb video game IPs, I believe, are owned by Columbia Pictures.
Ooh, Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures is owned isn't that a Disney company? Columbia
I'm-
Pictures
I'm
is an
not
entertainment.
sure.
I can't remember. Disney owns so many things.
Yeah, man. And like,
No, is
it's
that a
so-
Sony thing? Parent is
Yeah.
Sony.
yeah, it is a Sony thing. You're
Sony.
right. Yeah, because I just watched Spider-Man No Way Home the other night, and yeah, that's Columbia
It's
Pictures.
never coming out, is what you're saying, because Sony's
no.
all like,
Yeah, no. I know for a fact Arcade One Up has it. They've said it on multiple interviews. They're like, yeah, we got the rights to Qbert. Just don't know, like, Horizontal Gates. I don't know if anybody will play it. 2 games. That's been said a bunch of times.
I wonder if Qbert is not represented by Sony themselves. That's my guess.
Yeah.
My guess is they have a license for Qbert, but they didn't get it from Sony. They got it from some representative company, legal agencies that represents the IP of Qbert. They just outsource it.
Yeah.
I don't
They're
know
probably
why I
thinking-
believe that, but I just believe it because I just don't believe Sony as a department that's like, yeah, so you want Qbert, okay? So we're gonna have to go through the list here and see if you qualify. Like, how many sales do you think we're gonna get on Qbert? No, we're not gonna give that license to you.
So we've got another suggestion here from Chris, one half of the Zeeks. And Chris says, we just need a better mix of 80s to 90s cabs released. Not enough 80s cabs. Pac-Man every year doesn't count. Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, Justin, I do want to discuss this one. I've been pretty adamant lately saying that I think there's a big focus right now on 90s cabs and fighting cabs, and it seems like there's not as much of a focus on 80s cabs. But you kind of talked me down off the ledge and said, whoa, Tron sold really well. Like, they see it now. They know there's a market out there for that. Do you think we'll see a future where Arcade One Up maybe does, you said one big 80s cab per year, but could they ramp up those numbers if the one big cab starts becoming a big success?
Well, of course, I think Arcade One Up is gonna try to get bought out or go public, one of the two.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you go into a boardroom of people and say, we've hit 3 million or 4 million or whatever. They're gonna do whatever it takes to just sell more cabs, whether it's raising in profits are a lot in there. And so they're like, hey, I imagine there's a scenario where they're like, so when we came out with the cabs that they call Gen 1, we were making only $50 a cabinet, but we sold 1 million of them. This was a huge loss for us. So what we did was we strategized and we marketed and we came up with a way to make $300 per cab that next year by charging about double. And we sold 2 million. So we're doing something right, So reinvest in us. You'll get your money back, or buy us out. You can take our property, and we've figured out the strategy. What you're buying from us is our strategy or whatever like that. Our brand is now household. So if that works to the, you know what I mean? If the 80s cabinet getting 2 or 3 out a year fits in that plan, then we'll get it.
So I want more 80s cabs, and I've got a secret plan to get them. I'm going to convince John D that they can sell if they just put Shaq on the side. So you can do a Robotron Shaq cabinet. You can do a Robotron Qbert cabinet. No, Shaq Qbert cabinet. That's the key to all this.
Oh,
It's more
geez.
Shaq.
Shaq wins it all.
CyberSales 2077 $1.99 super sticker. Thank you very, very much, man. And Retro Ralph, At Games' biggest fan, says, if At Games can get Gottlieb titles, anyone can. I kid. I think the pinball assets are owned by another entity. I think. Yeah, I think Farsight were the. I don't know if they own the Gottlieb pinball titles outright, or at least they had the license. So I think they brokered the deal to bring those to At Games. I'm not 100% sure about that, but
I think Nostalgia brokered the deal.
more than likely, Nostalgia brokers a lot of deals behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Punyan Shaq Edition.
Okay, so let me call in real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Michael B. So I have one question for you that I think.
Hey, caller, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Iowa, the first-time caller, long-time listener. My question is this. Wait, I got to sound a little different because the call-in quality voice is like in an echo chamber, right? Hold on. I think I got it. Yeah, hey, so I'm calling in
There it
here,
is.
and I have a question for you, Mike. And this is for you, Mike. It's will Arcade 1-Up ever make any games that I actually want? Could you? What do you think?
What kind of games do you like?
Well, I don't know. I was kind of thinking like 80s games or 90s games. I can't make up my mind, but I want one cabinet that has both 80s and 90s games.
Sir, let me tell you about this thing called the multicade. I do struggle. I'm going to be honest with you, Justin and caller. I do struggle when people do say that. Like the comment, I don't have enough games on my cabinet. I need more games for my cabinet, because I think Arcade 1-Up are struggling with their identity sometimes, and I think it's hard for them to find out what they want to be. Do they want to be the purveyors of nostalgia, where they're bringing out these accurate cabinets, but yet at the same time, people are saying, well, I'm not going to buy that cabinet. It doesn't have enough games. I need more games, more. And the further they stretch that to add more games, the more liberties they take with the authenticity of the cabinet. This is the mix that I'm in. Like, what I want Arcade 1-Up to be and what the majority seems to want Arcade 1-Up to be are two really wacky different things, and it's hard to get. Like our friend, the first caller, mentioned NFL Blitz having the 49-way joysticks, and then saying that'd be the perfect cab to put. Was it Sinister you wanted on it?
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted Sinister on
It definitely
and
wasn't Robotron.
No, it definitely wasn't Robotron. Well, it breaks my heart.
I'm sorry. So Sinister, yeah.
So he wanted Sinister on that. And I mean, we know that's never going to happen. The NFL is not going to be like, yeah, throw Sinister on there. We don't care. The NFL is going to be involved. They're going to say, we want NFL games. Like the people that were like, hey, maybe we'll get a NFL Blitz Showtime collaboration cab. That's not going to happen either, because the NFL are going to say, hey, we're the NFL. We want all the money. So, I mean, they're not going to share it.
You get 10%. We take 90.
Yeah. So I just don't see that happening. And that's also such a weird mix, right? You're like, hey, I just bought like an NFL cab. Yeah, I'm playing some football, and now I'm just going to jump on Sinister. Like, I mean, that's just such a weird mix. I get that the same.
You're just
controller.
so mean to your viewers. You called in. He was the first one to call in.
Gave a great super chat too. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying it is kind of a stretch, right?
The customer's always right.
Customer is always right. But
so,
and like he talked about, his fix for this is he bought a multicade and brought his own ROMs.
Yeah.
Dabbled in the dark arts.
And
that's the truth. Like, a lot of people want Arcade 1-Up to be at games, but they don't want at games. It's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? So if we got, basically there's 3, and I'm going to say it 3 because we all know that, I don't know, maybe let me show you. So At Games came out with multiple products in the home arcade space. So that establishes them. Arcade 1-Up as well. iArcade is now on their 2nd generation. And Unico, I think, was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people still listen, to one-hit wonders and really like it, but it just appears to me that the pandemic, I'm afraid to say the word killed, but a word similar to that would work. And we'll see. Maybe they'll make a comeback. But my point is this. Arcade 1-Up does this weird thing, if you notice, and look closely. I think what they're doing is they came out and they're trying to figure out what they want, or what the customer wants. And I think they know. I think they actually know what the customer wants. And the definitive cab is years from now. There's going to be they know the definitive cab, and that ain't coming till the end, right?
Yeah.
And so you can see it with even the Defender, not the Defender, the Partycade. The Partycade came out, had 2 games on it. It has 3 games, then 5 games, then 8 games, then 10 games. So guess what this year? The Partycade Christmas version on HSN is probably going to have 12 games, right?
Yeah.
And well, if your Partycade's going to have 12 games, then your 3/4 scale can't have 12 games. That's why it moved to 14, because, you got to have more. But you go look at it, the Street Fighter, Pac-Man only had 2 games. Let's just talk about Pac-Man for a second. Pac-Man with 2 games, then it went to 4 games, then it went to 5 games, then it went to 8 games, then it went to 12 games. Now it's going to 14 games. There's a pattern here, right? Look at the countercades. Now, NBA Jam is an exception. Cabs like NBA Jam, it's like it only has 3 games. Countercade only has 3 games. That's different, right? And I think we'll continue to see this. So I think every year when they go to QVC, they go to the retailer, they're like, yeah, but this one has more games. Yeah, but this one has more games. So sometimes they're not just selling us, they're selling the retailer. And adding more games adds value for the same price point, and it probably doesn't really cost them much more. Is Midway, are they saying, okay, instead of 10%, we're going to give you 13% because you're giving us 2 more games? Or is it just like convincing them that allowing more games on the cabinet is going to make us all more money? Probably something like that. And maybe when they did a Data East, what was it, the X-Men cabinet, where they had like a share between 2 different companies. I don't know. Maybe they were scratching their back and they're like, yeah, we'll help you market on this other cabinet a little bit better and we all win. I don't know. Maybe they lost a little percentage on those. I'm not sure. But the definitive cab is probably the one that you really, really want. And they're going to try to wean as much money out of us. I mean, if you were running the company, would you do it any differently? Would you just come out with the definitive version?
When you say the definitive version, do you mean the definitive version of a title? Or do you mean something else?
Like the perfect Pac-Man machine. The perfect Defender machine. The perfect Mortal Kombat. I don't say you do a perfect Mortal Kombat right now because you're hoping that the prices come down because from Arcade 1-Up's point of view, the perfect cabinet also is landing that perfect price.
Yeah.
With the perfect amount of games on it, with the perfect look, the perfect shape. And they learn a lot along the way.
Red Sea Gaming brings up a point, and this is why everybody wanted that combination cab. It already happened. Sports Station cab in real arcades happened, but it's a different time. It's a different time period. It's different licensing involved, different complications involved. I could be wrong. It's just I don't see it happening. That's my personal opinion. I understand that it was a real cabinet once upon a time. I'd be very surprised if it happened again. It's just really complicated to get companies to share revenue. And I'm amazed the NFL is doing NFL Blitz and agreed to do NFL Blitz in the first place. I would be double amazed they'd be willing to share the profits from it. Anything on that, Justin?
So maybe, I don't know. Like back in the day, I don't know how it worked. Like were they making, I mean, if you think about like NBA Jam when it first came out on the in the real arcades, didn't it make close to hundreds of millions, if not close to $1 billion in quarter revenue?
Yeah. So I can't remember. I would imagine also that it depends on a different agreement. Like it all depends on the agreements that these guys Midway had with these companies in the first place, right? That maybe they had the ability to just double up the arcade games without approval.
Oh,
do you know? But you know what I'm saying, right?
Companies were less litigious at the time, perhaps, and technically Midway had a deal with both of them, and maybe they were just like, "Look, the arcade owners are asking for it." They made it happen. I don't know. Maybe they're like, "This arcade owner, let's just call it an NFL Blitz." This one, let's just wink and call it the NHL version and the proceeds that we get. And I don't even really know how that works. Like, I would love to pick the brain of someone that worked at Midway back in the day. Like when they sold original cabinets back in the day, was it you're buying this cabinet for, I don't know, $5,000 back then or $3,000, whatever the price was, and that's it? Or was it there was a share in the proceeds, because I think, and depending on what company you're working with today, like if you're an arcade owner, I talked to a guy locally that's an arcade owner, and he was telling me how there's different strategies. You can kind of lease them, you can share the profits, and you can buy the little devices that will increase your revenue because the card swipes cause people to like spend a little bit more money, but that'll cost you extra money. That's an investment. And then, are you working with a distributor? Are you paying somebody to do the repairs? Or are you doing that yourself? And I think there's different strategies, right? There's the new owners that are putting in all the new cabs, and then there's ones that are just doing it on themselves. I know a few in town that are just, they own all the arcades and they own their own arcade business, but they're running like just retro machines. If it breaks down, they may put an LCD in it. That's their cost. That's it. They're not paying anyone for, for the license of those games at all. They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they have 16-1s in the machines. They could do
Yeah.
ROMs with computers in them if they want. No one would know. Nobody cares.
Yeah, there's different stuff that's happening. Like I watched a video today. It wasn't a John's Arcade video, but it was one of the arcade. Him and his buddy Jay have one of their free play arcades in Providence, and a different group went there. And like Jay was talking about, he tries to keep all this stuff authentic there. Like there's some stuff you just can't help. Like you'll get cabs like Tempest, and there's like massive burnout with the screens and problems with those. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about, Justin? The vector screens. So they can put like a new kit in it, a new board.
Yeah.
Like I think it's called a J-Rock board or something like that, that actually will run different and it's a little more reliable. So they might do that, but otherwise they keep everything really authentic. And they talked about the difference between there and Galloping Ghost. Galloping Ghost will do combination cabs to fit more stuff in the arcade. So they'll have switchers and sometimes multiple boards, or they'll put other things in there. But like there's some arcade owners that are like, no, I'm keeping all my shit as authentic as humanly possible. I'm not going to double up or do anything like that.
I don't know too much about that, but I think that's very interesting.
Anyways, guys, we're over the hour mark, and if we're going to continue, I'd love to see someone else call in. We've just been taking some questions
Mike is
here from the
literally
comments.
begging you to
I'm
call into the
begging you.
show.
Begging you. Begging
Our
you.
show is dying here. If you want to keep Home Arcade alive, then you need to call in because nobody loves us. Jeez.
Seriously, guys, if you want us to continue, please, somebody jump up, call in, let us know.
All right, we're going to continue on the show. I did get someone reaching out to me that he was like, he's got to use the bathroom, but then he'll come right on. Anyway, so here's my next question for you, Mike. What's up with all the leaks? And like, no, think about it. Like, what could Arcade 1-Up do better? I like making leak videos, but it sucks that Arcade 1-Up is allowing them to happen. How do you think they feel about not having as much control over the marketing?
Sharon Peters, how are you?
Well.
Hello. Hello.
So good to hear from you, Sharon Peters. I'm
so nervous. How are you guys?
doing great. Hold it
pleasure.
together, Mike. Let's be respectful. That's a part of our charter.
Yep.
To be respectful and inclusive. So
Hi. I think Michael is cute, but where's John D?
well, John D said he couldn't make the show. He was a little busy.
Oh my God. That's really upsetting because I really like him, but I guess Michael B will do. I love your arms.
Thank you. Those are my real arms in the thumbnail, I swear.
I think this is proof that Zohar is Sharon Peters.
What do you mean?
Okay, let's see. Well, let's do a test if this is really Sharon Peters. Tell us what you really think about John D. And let's see if it can. I'll do the litmus test to see if it's clever enough to be the real Sharon Peters or an imposter.
I'm so nervous. I didn't know what to say.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What note is this? Can you tell me what note that is?
It's an A flat minor.
Okay,
oh my God.
Zohar, give it up.
God. I'm sorry. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
Hi, Sharon. Thank you so much for calling in.
Well, there you go. That's what you learned on this show. The real Sharon Peters stood up, and it was Zohar the whole time.
I don't think anybody is surprised by that. Charlie Chuck says the show just went into the shitter. Charlie, why are you not here? You should be on here telling us about how Arcade 1-Up needs to get rid of their risers. This is exactly the type of situation you should be in.
Oh man. Well,
I think CT Jason said, "Oh, JJ is back."
Wait, that's not JJ.
No,
JJ had a Qbert avatar.
Oh,
Yeah, we got more imposters.
uh-oh.
Okay. No, going back to the serious question, Mike.
Okay.
You know, we wouldn't have the leaks if Arcade 1-Up did a better job marketing their products, right?
Yes and no. Some of their leaks are really out of their hands. I mean, like, there's nothing they can do. They have to put this information out to retailers. I mean, they just have to. That, like, every company does it. It's just, I don't understand how other companies can be safe, like Nintendo, Sony, and Arcade 1-Up keeps getting found out this way. Is the community just that crazy or is there just that many accidents?
Yeah, I mean, it also makes me think about they are changing how they file with the FCC.
Yeah.
And that was a source of the leak. And so maybe they are working on it. And then I almost wonder if they're smart enough where they purposely, like some of the leaks, maybe the Double Dragon, that was it, like John D and his wisdom, like purposely leaked that. And then we all went for it. And he was like, never coming out with Double Dragon.
Suckers. We've got somebody here on the stream. I can't wait to hear him.
Hey, what's up there, Kenny? How's it going?
How's it going?
Real quick. I'm trying to fix my camera. This is weird. How y'all doing?
The real CT Jason is here with us live. Thank you for calling in, CT Jason. I have a question for you.
What's up?
What is your question for us?
I don't got no questions. I just want to share my concerns that I got with Arcade 1-Up. They're letting me down. You know what I'm saying? I'm hurt. I'm hurt as a customer.
Oh, who hurt
you?
you?
Want to know why?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you, man? I don't want no one hurts my CT Jason and gets away with it.
They got me upset.
What are you gonna do about it? That's what I'm afraid of.
I'm gonna stop buying shit. I'm gonna have to find John D and ask him what's up. Because you know why? I keep on hearing about leaks, but I don't see no proof. You know what I'm saying? I keep on seeing stuff that's coming out.
What's that? What's that? Did I hear you correctly? You're gonna harm John D and no one's gonna find the evidence?
I didn't say that.
You said that. That's what I heard.
I just wanted to talk to the man real quick. You know what I'm saying? He watches his stuff. Why are you messing up John D? Give us some stuff. It's not no repeats. Give us some stuff that we want. I don't need Street Fighter 20 times in 3 years. I don't need it.
And what are you going to do about it if he doesn't do it?
What? You're trying to get me caught up, Justin. You're not going to implicate me in the struggle of that man's life.
Why do you wear a mask? Are you hiding something?
No, I'm not hiding nothing. I called him the mess.
Did I? What the heck? You're going to hack him up?
You see over there?
Oh! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it!
I'm coming to find you.
Leave them alone! The people at Walmart are our friends!
They're safe. I'm not going to hurt them. But I was upset.
I know you're not going to hurt anybody. Just put the knife down.
There's no Arcade 1-Up no more. Not in no Walmart. I just left out of there.
What did you do with all the Arcade 1-Ups? Did you steal them from the store?
I didn't take no, I had to go buy stuff. Look, I bought this. I bought this because I like to buy stuff.
Show me the receipt.
Well, the receipt, I'm not sure. I
Did
don't know
you
where
slash the receipt already?
it's gone. Here's the bag. That's the point.
What are you gonna do with the bag?
I'm not going to kill nobody with the bag. Why are you trying to implicate me? I came to talk about Arcade One Up. And that's it.
Jason, I think I can answer your question. I think Arcade One Up, maybe you noticed last year, like a lot of the they do the Walmart cabs, right? Those cheaper price Walmart cabs. A lot of them didn't sell very well, and a lot of them actually went on clearance. Like people weren't scooping them up like they previously did. So a lot of people are saying that we're not seeing them at Walmart anymore. And maybe it's just that period where they go through the restock. We see that every year. Some stuff gets clearanced and then stuff restock happens. But maybe Arcade One Up are moving away from making those $2.99 cabinets. Maybe they're not doing that anymore.
I don't know. I think Walmart gave up on their ass. Sorry for cussing, but I'm just telling you. I think they gave up. I went to 7 Walmarts and they're gone. Like, snatched away. Just like that. Crazy.
Somebody took them.
Are you sure you're not living in like some kind of... Are you sure?
I bought one on Mother's Day from my mother. Okay? And now they're gone. It's crazy. They gave up. And I'm about to give up too. That's how I feel. I had to start expanding on my other hobbies because I don't got no more arcades to buy. Right now we're in a world where we got a pre-order. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 pre-orders, but no cabs. And I don't know when I'm gonna get them. When they come. Shit, I don't know. Whenever they decide to release them. So I need some more cabs. I need new games. You talk about this NFL Blitz. I don't want to hear about the rumors. I want proof. I want to see something. You know what I'm saying? And then they got the whole thing with the monitors and all that. And Tito's got what? His golden Tito messed up on him. Arcade One Up is slipping up.
Wow, we need subtitles at the bottom.
So if you want to the mask and stuff, I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying. You talk to me enough, you know what I'm saying. You speak my lingo.
Yeah, well, thank you for calling in, caller. We really appreciate it, but we're going to have to let you go for the sake of time.
Yeah, I got to get up out of here. It's nuts.
All right, see you, CT Jason. All right, so what was that? So some murderer just joined our stream, and that's what you get for just, like, putting the link out there. I can't believe it. Like, he was in front of the Walmart. He was restocking things. I don't know if he was stocking things or restocking things. He's got the bag. I don't know what he's going to do with the people. But that's some scary stuff, man. You got to be careful.
I will tell you, I've been in the situation CT Jason is in before, when I had more money and more room and I could just buy whatever I wanted. You get to that point where you're waiting for new stuff to come out and there's nothing new coming out. So then you start fixating on stuff you don't have, looking at other options. At one point, I was even saying, you know what? I could get a Space Invaders cab. I'm sure I could use it. I didn't need it. I didn't want it. I didn't want it when it first came out. But it was so long between getting the next cabs, waiting for them to come out. I needed my fix somewhere else. So I thought about getting a Space Invaders cab.
We just turned this into the, are you a collector? Are you addicted? We're back at it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I will tell you, I'm surprised because I didn't make this intentionally an Arcade One Up show tonight. I said a home arcade show, but I'm really surprised no one really called in or provided much suggestions for the other companies, At Games or iArcade. We didn't really hear much for them. It was mostly Arcade One Up questions. Is that because of us, Justin, our backgrounds, like where people know us from an Arcade One Up space, or is it mainly just people are like, we don't really have a lot to really contribute to those companies doing a lot of stuff.
Let me explain. Okay, I can explain it. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 call-ins real quick. Okay. Hi, my name is Ryan, and first-time caller, long-time listener. I have a question about At Games. It's just really one. I mean, I really appreciate the product. I bought it and I use it for what it's intended for. I sideload a ton of games on it and it works great. Is there any way they can make the UI better? you think they're working on that? And what's up with the, like the firmware that breaks everything? I mean, that's my only question, my only complaint, really.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't invested in the UI. That's something I 100% would love to see them do. It's something that's been suggested to them for a long time, and I don't think they've put it as a high enough priority. I mean, like it's fine, I guess. Like I can just do stuff, but I would love to see a new UI and iArcade as well. That's a same comment for iArcade as well. I would love to see them get a new UI. What they have there it's just so simple and basic. It really undersells the quality of what they have on their machine.
All right, I'll call back in for the next.
Okay.
Hey, this one will be really quick. So my name is Jeff.
Yep.
And I own. Hold on a second. I just realized that people are gonna think that I'm making fun of Jeff Rainwater, but I literally just said Jeff because the super chat is a Jeff,
I know,
and
Jeff.
I was searching for. So let's use a different name. Okay. So, my name's Jason. All right. Wait, CC Jason. No, my name is Brad. No, not Brad. My name is Peter. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yep.
We're good. Okay. Hi, my name is Peter, and I love the iArcade. I own the first iArcade. Then I've pre-ordered the gold, and I really appreciate all their products. I'm in every single stream, and I comment, and I've emailed Jong, and he's emailed me back. But there's just one question that I have: when are they going to come out with better games? Like AAA title games, like the Dodo game that just came out is amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. $5, whoo! I bought it right away. It's amazing. Everyone loves it. But what about AAA games? And oh, look, the ports. I love the ports. They're coming out with ports.
Console ports, yeah.
But
Yeah.
is
So
there any games that will connect to them yet? Ones that are AAA.
there's two sides to that. One is they have to expand their user base because they have to get a return on investment for the game, and some of these games are a lot more expensive than people think. It's not as simple as just saying, "Yeah, we're going to go get Pac-Man." How much is Pac-Man going to cost? Then the other issue with getting these is whether or not these companies can sell the games to them because they may have signed an exclusivity agreement with another company.
Blah, 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 blah. Give me games.
Jeff Walsh, $2 super chat. Take the plunge and buy Real Pin. Man, I really, really freaking want to. It's just I'm in a hard spot with my wife right now. And thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate it. And Console Fanboy, $1.99 super chat. I have an answer. They're not. Same answer I gave Zohar. I do have somebody I want to bring in here. Charlie Chuck, my good buddy Charlie Chuck. How you doing, brother?
Cheesy B, Justin, how are you guys?
Good, man. What is your question?
Is this the iArcade complaint hotline?
It can be.
It just became one.
No, I don't want to talk about iArcade.
I didn't think so.
As one tends to do.
Let's just keep bitching about Arcade One Up.
Okay.
The company that manages to screw everything up.
Not everything.
They screw a lot.
Charlie's just upset because Charlie was really excited because he was finally getting a cabinet he could really sink his teeth into in the Golden Tee re-release. He's been waiting for a long time to get a riserless cabinet with a bigger screen. Golden Tee had everything except a quality screen. Am I right, Charlie?
You got it. I got a couple 19-inch screens on the way, but I'm also not paying $8.99 or whatever it is for Golden Tee. It's got to come down in a clearance. Same for the NBA Jam. If I got cheap enough on clearance, and I think those will end up not selling and going on clearance because of the amount of time the original was out, and also the lousy artwork. But I would consider if I don't get Robotron or pretty soon, just mod the riserless NBA Jam and turn it into finally a Robotron. But
Really? Huh.
it's annoying. You get excited about the the riser finally being toasted, and they screwed up with cheaping out with the monitor, and it's so frustrating. And then the quality control, you see P-dubs today like 80 days and it's dead. So there's no way I'm paying that kind of money for these things the way they've been going lately, with the quality control just being down the toilet and really rehashing some of the same stuff too. It's frustrating.
Yeah, brother. Like, those are all facts, just facts.
And I love these things. I'm
That's the hard
on the
part,
same train track as Michael B. I love these things, but like, I gotta have some sort of return for the money. I posted earlier in the chat. We talk about, and Michael B is the same with me on these 80s, the stuff not coming out, and I think Tron proved, and Justin, you said it earlier too. Tron proved if you make it look close to what it looked like back in the day, the things will sell. And it was overpriced, and I bought that one because it was a good-looking cabinet that was, nostalgic and had the just 2 games on it, but it looked right with, most importantly, the proper controls. Although they managed to screw that up by quality controls too. I wouldn't have bought it actually if Glenn's retro show didn't exist, and knowing I'd have a backup for the control, which is just another sad statement for Arcade 1-Up, that you need an independent out there to cover their ass. But my point being, that thing sold and was, huge. And to have Q*berts of the world, Robotrons, these things would be in the Arcade Hall of Fame if it existed. And to think that they're not going to sell because some friggin' 22-year-old buyer at Walmart doesn't know them, like, you got to just get past that.
Well, I don't even think it's the buyers at Walmart anymore. I think it's actually Arcade 1-Up internally who are basically doing an ROI portfolio. Go ahead. You say they hate being wrong. No, I think it's an ROI portfolio, and they're trying to cater to a very specific age range. And I think they look at us and people in our age range as kind of outside the scope of what they're really trying to market to, which is a younger demographic right now. I think they're trying to get more of that hip demographic, 35 and under. You don't think so, Justin?
No. I'm reacting to that concept. I mean, this is like At Games saying at one point that they were going to try to target kids going into dorm rooms.
Yeah.
Because their cabinets can have HDMI in, so you just buy the At Games Legends Ultimate, you can watch TV on it. And it's like, what? No. Like, that demographic, just like, some of them don't even have laptops. They watch on their phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of room in those dorm rooms too.
Yeah. So, like, I'll give an example. They did this big ad campaign with the Jabberwocky. I'm going to ask you a question now. We're all older gentlemen. Do you know what a Jabberwocky was? I was like, cool. What's a Jabberwocky?
I don't know. Maybe their marketing would say, see, that's proof. We're targeting not you. We're trying to expand our reach, and that's why we did that. But I'm hesitant to say how many people of that age group is going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, all your cabinets. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it.
No, I think the older crowd has the more disposable income too, and is willing to do what I did, for example, buy the Tron, even though it wasn't loaded with games. Just do them right. Robotron by itself with the proper controls. I mean, it doesn't need to be because there's other 2-stick games to throw on it. Yeah. But even still, throw Robotron. People buy real arcades with 1 game. If they're done right, they're classic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what I want. I like when there's an extra game or 2. But
sure. Most
importantly, these games that are a pain in the ass to try and play. I mean, I built a Q*bert because you can't play it on your At Games Legend. It's unplayable. That alone is why they should be building it. And you can throw the other Q*bert games, the harder, tougher, whatever it's called, Q*bert. You throw it on there so it looks like there's even a few extras, and it'll sell. It was a classic, an absolute classic, and it's a pain in the ass to play anywhere else except if you build it properly. And it ain't tricky. You you turn the joystick on a diagonal, like
it should be simple, but I guess you see those memes they always put there where the guys are at the business meeting and the guy just mentions the thing. Why not just do a Q*bert? And then they throw them out the window because it's not exactly what the corporate. You know what meme I'm talking about, right? Like the guy makes the simple suggestion, yeah, just do a Q*bert cabinet. But I don't think Arcade 1UP in their thought process right now see some of these classic games and seeing the return on investment the same way we do. And maybe they know more than we do, and we don't understand. We're looking at it from a fan's perspective. We're like, man, that'd sell. We don't know the way this company works.
Well, yeah. If they can't get the license, which you said they can, but if they can,
they got it. It's done.
Yeah. So, but even if that was changed, then just get it out there. We can't do that one, folks. Sorry, like it's communicate, because you're just making yourself look bad by not building it. Especially just a simple. I mean, at this point, I've built my own. A countercade would even be handy for me. Then I just throw the PCB in it to make it clean.
That would be cool. Yeah.
But the countercade, like other people have suggested, I've seen it for over a year. That's just a gimme. I mean, how hard is it to do that? And even if you wanted to use that as your test, but
Red Sea Gaming says, do we actually have real numbers of Tron sold? Yes. That's the crazy thing. We were told, we were like, Tron was a huge surprise for Arcade 1UP. They were blown away.
All you have to do is look to see that it doesn't go on sale and it's selling.
It is finally on sale today.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, but that's a long time on sale compared to, for example, Simpsons, right?
Yeah.
Like instant sale.
Let's
and
be clear about
numbers
this.
made of the Simpsons.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Tron also went on sale on the same day that several among that generation went on sale. To your point, Simpsons went out on sale much earlier.
And that's a product of overestimating demand. They made too many, right?
And that's why I didn't wait for Tron to go on sale, because that was one, much like a Burger Time or some others, you were risking not getting it.
That's right. The Nintendo factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's another piece to it. Like when Arcade 1UP releases a cabinet, they don't know how well it'll succeed for many reasons, kind of like what we're talking, right? But like, I remember when they talked about, John D was mentioning the coin door in one of the videos. He was saying they were even surprised how well the manufacturer did on producing the coin door. Like when they I think John put out a picture. It was the first time we had seen the coin door, and they kind of got on social media, and he was putting it out there because he was like, damn, they nailed it. Like, but that's not his team. Someone put out a mold, right? And they probably saw the mold. You're like, oh, that looks good. But when it actually gets, presented, is the size going to be right? Is it going to look right? And they did a really good job. Tron, I think it's the same way. They saw, an outline of what it would look like, the pictures of it, the models or whatever. When people actually started receiving it, they're like, this thing looks really good. And so the reaction to the community was positive, except for, like you had said, they don't always get it right. So the stick, wasn't perfect. So there's usually one thing wrong with the cabinet and controls.
Yeah, just when they're seeming to grasp to do something, like the way they're shaping them now in custom, which is huge for me.
Yeah.
I built a
Me
food
too.
fight and I'm already pissed off like now because it doesn't conform to the actual food fight shape.
Yeah.
So I'm already kind of frustrated like with that. Just and that's just at this point silly, but I'm sick of those old shark fin shapes, and when you start seeing them come out with the actual shapes, the Centipede looks fantastic, obviously the Tempest, the Tron, and they keep coming now. They're doing that right, but don't screw it up with something as important with a monitor. Like I think we'll pay the extra X amount of dollars for the proper monitor to work.
So I don't know what happened, but I would imagine that they never foresaw these issues with the monitors, and they bought them sight unseen. There was no testing before they purchased them. That's my guess.
Testing a monitor is not important or anything.
Yeah, but see, I don't know how their business works. So, people
Even
think
today.
people that's a good comment. But people think Arcade 1UP is this like workshop where everybody's working on this stuff together. It's a bunch of third-party people, like basically everything's outsourced. So they outsource this, they outsource that, and like really, I don't think they get like final demo products a lot of times until close to when it's actually done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a big kind of light kind of for me, my eyes opened up. Unqualified Critics had that good interview with their
Think up, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't know arcades, right? He was, you know, fighting to keep things that was totally against what the community was crying, you know, to change. And I think
he's their lead designer, right? And
the
he
lead
doesn't
designer
understand
not
what we want.
knowing enough. I mean, he was saying right on there, "Oh, I couldn't believe when this worked. I was wrong on that, and I was wrong on this." And I'm like, maybe not let this guy like in on the decision process anymore because it ain't working.
Well, I mean,
He seemed like a
obviously,
good guy. I'm not trying to bash the guy.
Yeah. But he also had mentioned towards the end, like, you know, basically we'll never come out with a cab that's riserless. No one wants that. I think it was something to that effect. Like, he didn't even know that like Golden Tee was right around the corner, you know. But I think that's sometimes how the companies work, right? They come up with mocks and they don't know exactly.
Yeah, the right hand's not talking to the left hand in that company.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
You know, I don't know how big the company is. I don't know what kind of size it is. I think we all have assumptions for what it is. But what I would like to see is definitely, I would like to have them have somebody on staff that is like an arcade expert or has some kind of connection to the arcades. I think it was great for them bringing in Justin Wong as a beta tester, of course, but like Justin Wong doesn't know everything about everything, right? Like I don't know if Justin Wong's an expert in Tron and, you know, building Tron quality sticks. I don't know if they have people like that they can rely on, but they should. Like Glenn is such a good example of that. Glenn makes arcade products himself. Having somebody on your staff like a Glenn, or even working with an outside company like Glenn's, would be so beneficial to Arcade 1-Up. And to me, it's just crazy that they don't do that. I know they have their own people internally, but the issue that they had with the Tron stick and the fulcrum issue, fulcrum, is that the term? The point of tension? Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably. Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, that issue, I mean, that could have been avoided 100%.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You just think they're taking a step forward and then it's 2 steps back. And the pricing, I think the pricing is a huge issue. Whether it's forced, they've been forced to raise these prices or not, I don't think it really matters. There's a certain, you know, threshold where people just aren't willing to buy them anymore. And I'm one of them. I mean, I love these things, and there's a threshold where it's like too rich for my blood. Outside of maybe the 1 or 2 cabinets as a P-dubs on your Qbert list, you're, you know, the one you got to have, but you're not going to be loading up, you know, we're up, Mike, to $1,000 Canadian on these things. Like, it's freaking crazy.
Yeah, we are. And I'm at a point right now where I've got to be a lot more selective. So like I've got Dragon's Lair coming because it's Dragon's Lair and they did go that extra mile to make the cab as right as it possibly going to be. So, you know, that tickles my fancy. I'm going to pick that one up. And
the last cabinet with a what's it called?
BOE monitor.
BOE monitor potentially. That's the theory.
It's a gem.
Yeah. Just really quickly, super chat here from Tyler V. Justin, you convinced me to buy Golden Tee XL, not wait for sale. I need something really stellar to come out, not weak sauce cabs. And legit, not one caveat type thing, especially since I have Gold Edition on the way.
Well,
thank
I'm
you
trying
very
to
much,
read between
Tyler.
the lines on that comment. I don't know if it means, Justin, you convinced me to buy the Golden Tee and not wait for the sale. How dare you? Or I appreciate that. Or, well, we appreciate the super chat. He had another comment.
Yeah, thank you again. Sorry, Game Genie as well. My bad. Mostly Game Genie.
There you go. There you go. I'm out. It's all you, Mike.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Anyways, Charlie, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Did you have anything else? We got somebody else.
No, I'm good, guys. I just saw you call me out, so I figured I'd come in and say hello and bitch about them for a little bit.
Charlie, you do have a suggestion. Riserless cabs. Just say it. Get it out there.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned that once or twice to you.
Yeah, once or twice or several hundred
occasional
times.
phone call. Yeah. No,
Riserless cabs.
I'm 6'5". It's a little frustrating. So
yeah, I understand. Yeah. All right, Charlie. We'll be talking to you, brother. Guys.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Thanks. Look at this guy.
I found out that
So-
what I am based on your show yesterday, so I'm
I-
trying to embrace it as much as possible.
Did you read the comment on my video?
I
Where
did,
someone
and it
called
got
you
me.
out and it's like,
It got me looking at myself, and I was like, God, I am a little bit of a slob, and I guess that considered looking like a hoarder. I was like, so yeah, I'm a closet hoarder. Yes, it's true.
embrace this. This is what you can do. Become an expert at organizing, and then make content on your channel that's like, here
But
I
here's-
am. It could be an
here's the
entire
funny thing.
series.
I feel
So
like I'm organized and really specific about the things I collect, but then I go overboard and then it becomes messy before it gets clean. Because if you look how meticulous like my displays are, they're very meticulous, but then I have a bunch of crap laying everywhere. So it's like, yeah, I'm still in that messy before it's organized stage. So then I had to introspective look at myself, and yeah, there's a lot of crap all over my house. So I have
So-
a problem.
My favorite comment that you made is you talked about, you're like, I walk by that Star Wars pinball and I feel bad because I spent so much money on it, but yet there's no remorse for the Founders Edition Infinity Game Table.
So I've been wanting to. It's out of sight, out of mind thing. I got it thinking I would be able to convince my wife that I could actually use it as the coffee table. But our coffee table downstairs also doubles as
Yeah.
storage drawers for toys. And so she's like, until I get rid of that stuff, I can't. So if it was in my living room in a nicer space, I think it would get more use. But otherwise, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. But someday, I do like the mod where somebody takes a wooden coffee table and embeds it into it, so it looks like really really nicely integrated into
Mod
a real
video.
coffee table. Yeah, like that looks
You
really
could-
really functional. So
You
Yeah.
should do something like that, man. You could take
possibly
it to the
like,
next level.
something like a dressercade, right? Something like that can be convertible. And
The
Now,
coffee
there-
tablecade.
There is another company making a similar product. It's called Well Played, so you can buy their game table.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I do have a suggestion, an interesting comment, because I felt like you got cut off last week, Michael B. When at games we're talking about sales, and so
Oh man,
my-
yeah, P-Dubs. That was so rude, right? Like
I felt
P-Dubs.
like you had something to say.
No, well, we wanted to cover the At Game Summer Sale. It was part of our weekly news
right.
announcement, and P-Dubs was just like, "Yeah, we're not covering it. I got to
So
go
here-
eat
here's
supper."
my- here's
I was
my
like, "You
question
weren't
about
even on the
that then.
show."
Here's my question about that though. If you following the sales, or any time At Games has done Nod sales, like who are the sales for? Because for the sale base, they're all bundles. We talked about Arcade One Up bundles. It's really to bring in new folks. So I'm just curious about like your take on this latest version of summer sales. Was a
So-
rehash of things we've seen. So I don't know. I'm curious about the sales marketing that
Yeah,
At Games does in that sense.
it's weird, right? Yeah. So, anyways, if I can
Had to
answer
do
these
it.
questions,
Sorry.
P-Dubs.
He's always here. All right, go, Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's weird, right, B? Because like the things that you would expect them to say I'm an At Games customer, and I have a Legends Ultimate, but like I'm waiting for a sale on the other products. When their sales come up, you're like, oh, well, it's not cheaper, but like I'll get some benefit, I guess, if I buy the pinball table now because I get all these extra pinball games with it. I don't look at those sales as for existing customers. I look at the sales on their actual hardware are sales to try to bring in new customers. They're bundle deals, 100%. You're 100% right there. There's no sale there for existing customers.
So
Where
here's
you
my
see this-
suggestion for that, unless you have one. Do you have a way?
No. I just wanted to finish. There are sales for existing customers. That's on the accessory side. The accessory side, you'll see a lot less bonus bundled with it. That's where you're getting the value. You get that Pixelcade HV behind me with Monsters Rock Champion up there in the background. That's on for $120 regular, $300. So there's value there.
You have a mod that I don't. I don't even have that Pixelcade HV thingy on mine. So
Oh,
look at that. You are so next level. I love that.
I'm taking it to the next level. I'm going to put it in my dresser case.
So I would love to see, and I have already a bone to pick with At Games regarding sales, and hopefully they can stick to their sale pricing this time
Oh,
around.
B. It's the
But,
bad boy of home arcade. I'm telling you now.
So I want them to honor their pricing, whatever it is they state. But wouldn't it be great if, since they're so into bundles, that they could that people could a la carte put their bundles together based on what they're missing, right? And so really
Yeah.
price everything at that
Mm.
individual level. And as you add more things, the bundle then gets better, right? So then that way there's just that pick and choose, because then that way your existing
Hmm.
base can pick what they need out of that, and then there's a bundle incentive for new people to grab it all. So if they are listening to somebody who is no longer in a position to provide influence, that's what I'd love to see from them. I'd love to see individual a la carte deals for everything, and then let your existing base pick what they're missing. I did that, I think, a year ago in Nod when I picked up, I'd missed the original 50% off sales of the Sicaria tables. And then I was like, oh, I really missed just that. And then I picked up the 35% one, and that was the only thing I got. And so I'd like to see that individually and then put together. So I just wanted to offer that suggestion and see what you thought before I get cut off by the people, by the million.
You're not going to get cut off by any people. I think there's so many different models you can use for sales. I don't know what the right answer is. Definitely, I like that idea of building value, build your own bundle, or working the quantity discount differently, maybe it being a little less restrictive. I love that idea where you don't necessarily, you're not hardwired into buying a Legends pinball with the pinball HV, but if you wanted to buy the pinball HV because you've already bought the Legends pinball, you can now get the pinball HV at X price. I think that's a good model. I agree with that. I think you make a good suggestion there. I don't know how hard it would be for At Games to implement something like that on their website or storefront.
Agreed. Well, that's it. I wanted to say hello. Thank you for now. I'm going to change my channel name to I'm a Hoarder and have some new content on cleaning up my room. So
Hold on. If you're really going to go in that direction, I think I would love to see this from you, B. And I don't know if the rest of the community would agree, but here's the deal. All right. It's like hear me out, because I love the idea of you make a video, content creators make a video. The video is actually of a title that's very common, but you market it separately. You market it a little bit differently. So the content is actually a game room tour. Like you're going to film it. You think of it like a vlog. You're walking around. Let me show you this piece. Let me show you that piece. But it's marketed as I'm a hoarder. I need help.
I thought you were
asking
describing
for people to help you in this journey of, look, you're not going to sell anything. It's not like that. It's not like you need a separate, what do you call it? Like storage space or anything. Like what you really need is just to organize it. You know, so you're looking for feedback. And then I want to see the organized video. Like I would love that content.
At first, I thought you were describing something called clickbait. And then I got your concept of, really having the community help me along this journey. And I've actually done a couple of streams where I said, what do I need to sell or get rid of? So I've done one of those where I had the community vote. I also had a stream that just went over, like, here's all my unfinished projects that I have not completed. What should I prioritize as projects? And then that's I think my problem is I'm not only a collector, I am a modder, so I have a number of just projects that I've not finished and gotten off the.
Are
so
they
that's
still
why,
in boxes?
Yeah, I do have stuff in boxes downstairs, and I bought those full size arcades as future projects that I want to do. So I think part of my issue is that I'm not only just buying to collect, I'm buying for future hobbies that I don't have time to do. So but I like your concept of doing something organized, because that will motivate me to actually get something done. So
hold me to it. I'm going to hold you to that and hold me to this piece of content. Today, I bought a Nintendo Switch broken.
I heard about this earlier. Yeah.
I'm
do it?
so excited. Like the price, and it's a simple one for it. It's the SD card is broken. I think I can do that. I think I can repair it. I even on eBay haggled for the price. I'm thinking about making a video that's like, okay, this is what I did. Went on eBay, I haggled for the price, and now here it is. We're going to take it up. I'm going to put a game in. I'm going to try to load it to ST. It doesn't work. SD card doesn't work. Let's take a look on the inside and see if we can fix it.
Cool.
I'm really hoping I can fix it.
Well, good luck.
Otherwise, that video
I'll
will
be
be
watching
really
you
dumb.
soldering and learning my skills. I got my flux. I learned what that was. I'm ready to solder.
Let's do this.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Great show. Talk to you guys soon.
See you, B.
See ya. Oh, let's talk about that. B's such a nice guy.
He's good people, right?
He is. He's like, yeah, he's nice. Zohar was very wrong about him.
Oh my, yeah. Zohar is here in the comments right now talking about Sharon going on Zodwriter. I'm going to be on Zodwriter show this Thursday, I think it is.
This Thursday, you should invite Sharon on.
Yeah,
Sharon,
yeah.
Mike, it'll be a whole thing.
Yeah, so it's late night with Zodwriter this Thursday. I think it's this Thursday. I'm going to be on the show. Guys, tune in, check it out. Hopefully, it's going to be fun.
Hopefully, it will be fun. Otherwise, it won't be fun.
That's right. There's only one other answer.
That's right. All
Man,
right,
we've got almost 2 hours.
This was the. We're running it late. I'm gonna see if you can do it, Mike. Are you ready?
What's that?
I think it's time.
Time?
It's Final Thoughts time.
I can't do final thoughts. This feels like the wrong show. So anyways, we got a lot of good suggestions from people here in the community tonight. I think a lot of people have shown a lot of interest in Arcade 1-Up's products. Some of the same comments we've been hearing for a long time. People all have individual ideas on how to make the products better, but it seems at the end of the day, we all want to see really the same thing. We just want to see them give us more for our money. That seems to be the overall comment, doesn't it? Anyways, I think we could sum it up very easily by saying they're not going to do that. So you just keep buying what's there and hope for the best.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this special Michael B. and Console Kits live chill and chat. And we'll see you guys. I don't know. How do you sign off, Mike?
Talk to you next time.
I'll do the 1-Up Weekly ending. There you go.
Yeah.
See you, Michael B. subscribers. Dun, 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 dun.